So come on, children, we're bound for freedom. We'll make it by the help of the Lord. I'll get to why I'm singing that in just a minute. Welcome to another episode of the Hack of All Trades. I am your host, Jordan Johnson, and I am your resident hack advisor. Get it? Anybody a resident advisor fan? Ha 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 ha. So, I opened up with a little sing-song. You want to know why? A little Underground Railroad, the Underground Railroad. Everybody get on board. So come on, children, we're bound for freedom. We'll make it by the help of the Lord. Song about the Underground Railroad. Why would I be singing that today? Well, pretty easy explanation, pretty fascinating explanation. So yesterday, I watched a movie called Operation Toussaint. Toussaint. Let me see if I can get my browser to work. It never works the first time. I don't know what that is. Try it again. There you go. So here's the IMDb page pulled up in the video. Operation Toussaint. Basically, it's about the Operation Underground Railroad and their fight to end modern day slavery. It's about this guy named Tim Ballard. Funny enough, the guy who wrote the book and helped direct the movie, Russell Brunson, is like a big web guy. He created ClickFunnels, which is a website where you kind of create landing pages for products. And he's like fairly big in the web space in terms of, giving advice or, whatever, sort of being an inspirational sort of web guy, marketer, whatever. And I was pretty fascinated to learn. I didn't realize until after I started the movie that he directed it and wrote the original book. And so good on you, Russell Brunson. Just a really fascinating documentary on this Operation Toussaint. I don't know. The French way would probably be, Toussaint. But we would probably say Toussaint. And it's a really fascinating movie about basically child sex trafficking. I know that's like, what? You're really going to talk about that? But yeah, I mean, it was so powerful and so at least moving for me that I joined their Operation Underground Railroad as a volunteer. Just because you watch something like that and you realize basically the easiest way to put it is the evil that does exist in this world and that so many people are willing to sit idly by and basically watch it happen but not do anything. And so the example they give in the movie is if you ask people like, oh, would you have tried to stop Hitler back in the day? Would you have tried to, whatever? Would you have stood up for this back in the... And of course everybody's answer is, well, yeah, I would have stood up for it. And then it's like, well, are you standing up for modern day slavery? There are more people enslaved in the world right now than ever in history. And we often don't talk about that uncomfortable truth. We often don't really care to go there. But if you talk to somebody and you were like, if you were back in time around slavery time, would you have fought, gone, as out of your way, risked your life to end slavery? Most people would say, yeah, I would have. But, they're not doing anything towards modern day slavery that still exists. So that that's not true. When somebody says, oh, I would have done something then, but, we don't have that anymore, so I don't have to worry about it. It's like, no, you do need to worry about this stuff. It's a huge, huge problem, especially the fact that America is the number one producer and consumer of basically child pornography. And so it's a very serious issue. We often talk, or you'll often hear things, I don't know, just all about anything else, right? Or I don't know. You basically don't hear these stories right now, because the media is preoccupied with being lazy rather than actually informing people, and that's a major problem that we have right now. And so most people don't know that this stuff is going on, or if they do, they are fine to turn, a blind eye at it because they're concerned with, whatever other things that are, to me, is not nowhere near as concerning. You're somebody who orients yourself towards, family and, I don't know, and having a family, having a strong household for your kids. Watching a movie like this will basically totally be right in line with, so I don't know, but what I'm really just trying to say is that you watch something like this, and if you're like family oriented and you don't feel after the end of it like a need to help, there's something wrong. If you're not family oriented, you don't care whatever. There's something wrong in a different way, or what? Maybe the word wrong is problematic for you, but yeah, if you're anybody who cares about family, I think it's pretty impossible to watch something like this and just not care. So I watched it. I went to the website right after. I signed up to be a volunteer, and to help out pretty much in any way I can. So if this is something that connects with you, if this is something you want to contribute to stopping, maybe check it out. Getting involved with underground ourrescue.org, and I think it's our film. Is it .org or .com? That's .org. So there's ourfilm.org as well, which is basically a direct landing page for like if you watch the movie, this is the URL they put up at the end. Or you can go to the main Operation Underground Railroad website. It's funny because at the top of this webpage, I don't think you can see it, but the browser tab has a ClickFunnels icon up at the top. And so it's funny to me, well, not funny, but Russell Brunson wrote the book and directed the movie and obviously knows this Tim Ballard guy pretty well. And so he obviously got Tim Ballard to use his ClickFunnels tool for this page to sort of sell these passes or whatever. So pretty interesting. Like I said, I respect the hell out of Tim. Russell for supporting a project like this. I never thought, I just you have some of these like heroes, I guess, and you kind of, I don't know, you kind of wonder like what some of these guys do with their spare time, right? Like Russell Brunson, sure, he runs his business, but like what is a passion project of his? And often you're not always sure of what that is, or whatever. And to see that his passion project is this, to me just shows that he's, I don't know, he's really thinking about problems that face our world and how he can work to solve or stop them in his lifetime, which is commendable to any degree. And so to see somebody like that involved in the web space like I am, taking such a strong effort towards this, it was just pretty inspiring. So I definitely recommend watching the movie. It's pretty incredible to hear from somebody who's been working in that industry and exposing these sort of people for, I think it's like over 12 years. It's probably more now. And then this operation is, I mean, the whole documentary is awesome. It covers a lot of ground, but it also basically films their live operation where they go back to Haiti. Basically, they did one mission to Haiti, and this guy, Tim Ballard, there were too many restrictions. There are too many restrictions, basically, within government to pursue these sort of predators in a way that actually ends up with them being locked up. Meaning, if you're a part of Homeland Security or, a government agency, CIA, and you go over to some other country and, you can't just go in there guns a-blazing and, whatever, our law applies here, so you need to respect it. It's a lot more difficult for our government to operate like that in other countries. So what Tim said was, I can operate a lot more effectively outside of the government. So he went and got a loan to start Operation Underground Railroad, where he was basically going to be a private firm that governments can hire or work with to basically catch these predators in like a trap. Think of almost like a Dateline or whatever, where he gets them caught up in a trap, gets them caught basically in sort of undeniable evidence of the situation happening so that these people can actually get arrested. So he can go, when he's working for his own private agency, he can operate outside of the bounds of his restrictions as a U.S. government official. So it's pretty interesting to watch him. He transitions to that role, or he talks about it. And there was a mission in Haiti where they caught 9 people, 3 women, 6 men. The sick part of it is they're all on the boat, and there's film of it. There's nothing like disturbing in terms of visually in the movie. There are disturbing scenes where it's this one where it's these 9 people on a boat, all adults, no kids or anything around, and they're just kind of bragging and laughing about the youngest, basically kid that they've slept with or basically raped. Not basically raped, and it's just super sick. It gives you that like sick in the gut feeling that people are sitting around on rich, fancy boats, talking about that sort of stuff and laughing it off, like it for zero regard for the child. And they basically ended up catching these 9 people. And 3 days later, I think it was 3 days later, they found out that they were released, that somebody had paid off government officials and judges. And they were all released. And all of the 26 girls that they saved were released as well. And most of them ended up back in the sex trafficking world. And so it was super messed up that happened. And so this mission, Operation Toussaint, is their mission to go back to Haiti to get those guys once and for all. And it's really interesting. You basically get to watch the raid and like everything sort of happen as it happened. And it's just really cool, like body cams and whatnot. And you get to watch it all. The mission planning, literally them in the briefing room, them talking about if somebody gets shot and their emergency plans. And it feels like you're in the room, like getting ready to go with them, because this movie, it works you up so much that you're like, you are just rooting for them. And yeah, it's just a fascinating movie. Where if you watch something like this and don't want to take action, you and I would probably not be great friends. To be able to see horrors like this in the world and to just decide that, whatever, it'll get fixed. Somebody will fix it. It's like, that's the wrong attitude to have. You basically, it's the stupid saying, but the reason some of these sayings are cliche is because they're true. It's the whole, it's basically be the change you want to see in the world, right? It's that sort of saying. You need to be the light in the darkness, or else you are contributing to the darkness in a sense. If you are not willing to try and stamp out the light, then you are a part of the darkness, is sort of the black and white way to look at it. And that's kind of how I felt after this. I was like, I can't keep going knowing this stuff is happening and just be okay with it. I had to do something. So signed up, volunteering. I let them know my skills, that I'm like a web guy. If everybody loves having just a web guy, right? Somebody you can just throw everything at and just hope they get it done, or know they're going to get it done. And just like a reliable person, right? I kind of just outlined, hey, I've been doing this web stuff for a long time. I run my own business. I can throw some hours at you. I can meet in person. I can do web stuff, whatever. Just let me know how I can help. And so we'll see what they say. I'm pretty excited, honestly. It's funny because this whole podcast, this whole series is about basically being like a hack of all trades, right? Like I try a little bit of everything, and most of it stays in the trying phase or tried phase. And I really hope that this is not one of those things. I don't think it will be. because this is, I don't know, it's sort of like a life mission change, right? Like I watched this and I was like, okay, my life, my mission has a new purpose, has a new reason for being. And so that's why after watching this, I was like, this is no standard like hack of all trades bit. This is something that, I want to be involved in for as long as I can, until it's over, which probably will mean the rest of my life and farther after. But yeah, I don't know. I just I felt a sense of purpose, and I know that's weird to say, that I hadn't really felt before with many other things. And to me, that was just like, okay, this is some sort of, calling, right? And however you want to read into that, religiously or not, this was some sort of call to action, call to arms, whatever. It resonated with me in a way that made me want to take action, if you want to put it that way. And so that's what I plan on doing. So this will be another thing that I'll probably update you on as I go. Maybe my old channel just becomes focused on hack of all trades. It is focused on, but just on like this child trafficking stuff. I'd probably have to change the name of the podcast if that's the case, but maybe this will be the subject that's like, wow, that's where all my views are coming from. And people like learning and hearing this stuff. So let's put more information out there. Let's get more people inspired to help. Maybe that's where things will go. I don't know. But yeah, if you want to help kids, maybe check out Operation Underground Railroad or Tim Ballard. Tim Ballard has some pretty great interviews and podcasts and whatnot on YouTube that you can listen to as well. And he's just a really, really amazing guy, like a Marine guy, super strong, super tough-willed, sort of ready for anything, but also super soft, very compassionate. He gets very emotional when he helps the kids or, works with a parent and reunites them with their child, right? He might come across as this sort of military man, but the amount of compassion he has is seemingly unlimited. So get inspired, people, all right? Go watch this documentary. Get inspired. Do something about this stuff because it's still happening in the world, and it's happening on greater scales than we've ever seen it before. And it's very sad that the United States is the highest consumer and producer of this sort of stuff. And so we got to stop it one way or the other. It's got to stop. And so it's one of those things. If no one else is going to stand up, if no one else I know is going to do anything, I guess it'll be me. Just because I can't stand to watch it. I can't stand to know it's happening and that I am sitting idly by. And hopefully after watching it, you might feel that way too. If you do, leave a comment. If you don't feel that way after watching it, leave a comment. But if you do, if you feel some sort of connection, if you feel some sort of way of helping, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to find out how we can all get involved and how we can all form a better community around eradicating this. It's just sad. So yeah, let's do it. Get motivated, people. Find a way to help. Find a cause you can get behind. And find a purpose. Maybe this is mine. Definitely feels like a calling of sorts. So we'll see where this takes me. But I appreciate you tuning into this episode of Hack of All Trades. I'm your host, Jordan Johnson. And let's join the modern day Underground Railroad, huh?